all bets are off now. The Stephanie White apologist,
This was a savage move by Caitlin Clark. But now Fever fans are asking, did she trade the right coach? Because in Caitlin's return from injury, the Indiana Fever served up yet another hot plate of disappointment. And now, halfway through the season, fans and analysts have had enough of Stephanie White. This goes beyond an ugly 19-point loss to an expansion team on your home court. It's a pattern. It's how they're losing, and more specifically, the chronic misuse of Caitlin Clark. And we're starting to see that Caitlin, as PR savvy as she is, does not seem jazzed about Stephanie's strategy. Let's get into the aftermath of the Valkyries' loss, what Caitlin's saying, and what's likely going to happen with Stephanie White. Watch to the end. Tell me if I'm right or wrong. But first, like this video if you think Stephanie White needs to go, and comment if you think she needs more time. After pounding the then undefeated Liberty in her return from her first injury, fans had high hopes for Caitlin's second comeback, especially against a solid but not elite Valkyries team. But yeah, that didn't happen. The Fever got clobbered by 19 points at home, with Caitlin held to just 10. Yeah, there were some silver linings in her return, and it was pretty clear they were managing her minutes, keeping her at 24. But the real issue, the thing that's got fans boiling mad, wasn't just that they took an L, but how they took it. And more specifically, how Stephanie White continues to bafflingly misuse Caitlin Clark. Remember that part about Luka, because as you'll see in a few minutes, it plays a big factor into why Fever fans should be concerned. Anyway, this isn't a one-off. Fans have been calling out Stephanie White all season, with Caitlin in or out of the lineup. There doesn't seem to be a cohesive offensive strategy overall. And when things are working well, she seems to abandon what's working. It's been a disaster class of blown leads and in-game inconsistency. Even in this game, they were up big early. And sure, Stephanie would probably claim that between Caitlin missing half the season and injuries and the Dwanda debacle, there needs to be some grace as they figure things out. But none of this explains her insatiable desire to keep the ball out of the hands of her superstar. This has been a problem Caitlin called out very early in the season. This was a clip from May, and even then, just a few games in, Caitlin made it clear, I need the ball, and I need to be more involved. That's when I'm the best and most effective. And can we really argue with that? She built her career and fame by running the offense, ball in hand, and having the confidence to read situations on the fly, create opportunities for others, and of course, make the big shots. And if we're being honest with ourselves, it's what the fans want. In that earlier clip, Caitlin was optimistic that things would change. But now, we're halfway through the season. Nothing's changed, and fans and analysts are wondering, is this going to get better? Or is this going to ruin Caitlin Clark? Let's right on this. This isn't just about the Fever. It's about the WNBA and the women's game. I'll get into why in a moment. But there's real cause for concern here. Coaches can ruin players, or at the very least, their systems can waste their potential and stunt their growth. And the scary part here is that it doesn't look like Stephanie's going to change. I've got receipts on that in a moment. But first, let's hear from Caitlin, who, while super PR savvy, does not seem thrilled about the game plan. This was from July 9th. Let's read between the lines here. That noticeable sigh before Caitlin answered the question about being off ball. Then again, her saying, hey, I'm my best when I have the ball, so we still need a lot of that. Look, there's no doubt it's smart for Caitlin to get a bit of a breather as she comes back from injury and not put everything on her shoulders. The real worry, though, is that Stephanie White, whether Caitlin's 100% or not, just won't give her enough control of the offense. And here's why. When doing color commentary for a Mavs game, she said this. Basically, she's saying that she likes how the Mavs play without Luka. There's more movement and everyone's involved. I really hate to do this to you, but it reminds me so much of this. This is why I ask you to remember the Luka comment earlier, because these arguments are basically the same. When Luka is on the floor, he has the ball too much, and the other players don't get as involved. And when Caitlin is on the floor, it's the same thing. And it's true, Caitlin is a lot like Luka in many ways. And while there's nothing wrong with getting other players involved, it's essential